5 ways to show him you like him without scaring him away. In this video, you will discover the more subtle signs and the subtle ways how you can communicate to men without actually sending mixed signals or overwhelming them altogether. Now, if you are ready to learn the secrets to magnetize the man to you, comment into the comment section, I am ready. I'm Antje Boyd, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man method. And this is the channel where we magnetize your man so that the man you want, desires, and of course, pursues you forever. Now, of course, thanks for being a man magnet. We acknowledge you so much for being here as well. Look, if you like anything about this video, my background, the content, anything else, please give it a like. And also don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified for more juicy videos coming your way. And hello, say us in the comment section, I subscribed, so we can welcome you to the community. And of course, sharing is caring. So don't forget to include your girlfriends as well. Now, lastly, watch the entire video until the very end because we'll have a surprising bonus that will really help you out a ton in your love life. I can't wait to see your feedback. So let's go ahead and dive right into the 5 ways to show a man that you like him without scaring him away. Now, number 5, advocate for your emotions. Now, I love this because it seems a little bit almost counterintuitive. What women normally think is, I don't want to rock the boat, right? I don't want to shake things up here. So the man gets like overwhelmed or he feels that I'm complicated and all the things. But the truth of the matter is that men actually don't feel or think that emotions in and of itself are complicated, right? But what you do with them, that's when get things complicated, right? When you feel insecure with your emotions, if you feel inadequate with your emotions, if you feel apologetic with your emotions, if you're embarrassed of your emotions, that's when the man starts to kind of wonder, what is going on? I'm getting mixed signals, like she's holding back, she's leaning in, she's doing all the things. And I don't really know. I feel incongruent inside of my system. And that, of course, will cause him to stop pursuing you altogether, right? Because we always say clarity is king. And if the man doesn't have clarity, there's not going to be a king. There's going to be a little boy, non-committal behavior, things of that nature, or disrespectful behavior, even to the extent of you attracting players into your life. But instead, learning to advocate for your emotions, like when you feel sad, like really say, yeah, there's some sadness that I'm feeling about maybe something happened with your aunt or whatever the case may be, right? So you share something authentically and you let him know the emotional impact, and then he can actually feel it inside of himself. And that, of course, causes a state change inside of himself. Now, of course, comment below what state or country are you watching from? Would love to hear as well. Number 4 is a balance of communication. So there is, of course, on the one side, you want to be a clear communicator. You want to make sure that you account for the deletions, the generalizations, the distortions that are happening not only in your brain, but also in the man's brain. Right? So for example, when you go on a date and somebody tells you something and says, I want to have a committed long-term relationship. And you could actually say, when you say committed, what does that mean to you? Right? So we really got to really hone in and account for that we all have different interpretations of the same word, right? Like in the NLP, we talk about the map is not the territory. And a lot of people, though, assume that. They assume that we have the same understanding of the same word, which is absolutely not true. You may be shocked. So, for example, you may be like, so when you say exclusive committed, what does that mean to you? Talking to you once or twice a week, just calling you, just making sure everything is good. Well, you think he should call you twice a day, morning and night. So do you see that there's a little bit of a difference of what that label means to you and him, However, you also want to leave a little bit of room for mystery as well. You don't want to answer all the questions. So you have to understand when questions are important versus when they're not important, right? Is this a serious subject, right? Because when you talk about a deep connected long-term relationship, that's a serious subject because that really determines what his values and his beliefs are, right? But if he just kind of says, what did you think about this movie? Or things like that, right? You could just kind of goof around a little bit and just have fun and be a little light and be like, what did you think about the movie? Like it just really have a little bit of a flirtation in there as well. So that's what I refer to, the balance of communication. Now, if you, of course, like this content so far, again, give it a thumbs up and subscribe as well. Number 3, this is actually one of my favorites. Smile unconditionally. Now, when I was single and I was dating, I never smiled at men. I did actually walk the opposite direction. And the reason why is because I was scared that the minute I smile at the man knows that he has conquered me, that he has claimed me, and now it's no longer interesting, right? So I actually kept the smiles to myself and I handed them out like very exclusively, like exclusive pralines, so to say, right? But what I didn't understand is that also had an impact on how many smiles and open-hearted men I received back. So that was a direct correlation. And what I started to understand is actually that it's not about smiling at the man and then it stops there, but actually almost like smiling at the man, but smiling also through the man into the world. So that way, you're not becoming attached to the outcome. Like, okay, oh my God, I smiled at him now, and now he has to smile back because I gave all my power away, and I feel vulnerable now, and I don't know where it's landing. But instead, you want to actually say, I shared my smile because that smile was authentically coming through me in that moment. And you know what? If it doesn't land with him, if it doesn't resonate with him, then it's smiling through him into the world to the men that it will resonate with. I cannot tell you how much of a life changer that was for me to start practicing that and handing out now smiles everywhere and getting smiles back and getting open-hearted men back. I've been married for almost 8 years to the man of my dreams, and I keep falling in love with him over and over again because his heart is so open, it's so available, it's so emotionally present. It feels secure, and it has a lot to do with the unconditional and the unattached approach. Now, if you haven't already, we're talking a lot about that in my free Facebook group, so join us at mymfbgroup.com. Number 2, now we're going a little bit into the energetics because you can do the same thing with different energies and you will get different outcomes, right? You can't just copy your girlfriend and think you're going to get the same results. It's not going to work this way. You would have to understand how is she running her energy? Where is she absorbing? What is she metabolizing? And so on. So in this particular example, when you're with a man and you're on a date and you're connecting, you feel this connection, right? Like make an effort to connect and stay with yourself. Because what oftentimes happens, especially the women that come to me, that are ending up being the people pleasers, that are end up being taken advantage of, and end up like wondering and questioning and doubting themselves all the time, are the women that are other focused. So what's the remedy for that? What's the natural balance for that? Is becoming self-focused, right? But I'm not saying, no, you're not pulling yourself back and you're disconnecting. I'm not saying that, right? I'm saying actually being connected, but staying with yourself, not being in his world, right? In his body. And then if I were to say, hey, do you feel your feet firmly rooted on the ground? You're like, what feet? Do you feel your butt? Like what texture is the fabric of the chair that you're sitting on right now? Oh, I don't know. Right? So that shows you, okay, you're a little bit too much with the other person. Right? So that goes a long way as well because the man feels actually secure when you share a connection, but you stay with yourself because you're not crawling and you're trying to disappear in his world and forget about all yourself. But instead, you're coming home to yourself over and over again and actually signaling on an unconscious level that there's a lot to be explored inside of you. So how about him actually investing more energy, more time, more words into you? And number one, it goes again, let the energy speak for itself. Now, what I mean by that too is when you go on dates, sometimes speak less. Let the energy actually land. So many women that come to me to over talk, over analyze, or they ask questions all the time on dates. But instead, what they're not doing is for when they don't feel, how am I feeling? What's the energy like? What dynamic do we have right now? Right? Like, she doesn't know. She doesn't allow that being of the energy to be there, but there has to be always like a talking and some sort of doing and some sort of filling in the gaps. But you actually want to be in that deep exploration of that gap. You want to enjoy that energy and feel safe and secure with it, because that actually shows him that you like him, because you're actually connecting with him. You're emotionally and energetically connecting with him, not just intellectually, right? But also it doesn't scare him because it feels really balanced, right? You're integrating it on all levels. So try that out and let me know how it goes. And of course, before I share my bonus secret, comment below what's your current status with the guy that you like and how you may apply the points we discussed. And of course, also every month we randomly select a comment from one of our videos to win a free access to one of our top programs, such as our Ultimate Love Recipe. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Now, bonus is this, and I'm really excited because you stayed until the very end, so you deserve the best. Treat every meeting as if it's the first. The worst thing you can do with a man is live in future anticipation land. Right? The worst thing you can do is like expect him to show up the same way how he showed up on the first date. Because on the first date, you already decided who he is. You already put him into a category. And guess what? Men don't like that because you categorize him and he hasn't even shown you anything. We have sent many different energies inside of ourselves, and there's only just a small percentage of that we actually show on the beginning first dates. However, if you treat every meeting as if it's the first, then again, there's no attachment to the future. It doesn't mean we're going to have a second date or a third date or fourth date. And it doesn't mean the man has to show up in a certain way on those dates. But rather, it gives him the freedom to reinvent himself. And by the way, it gives also yourself the freedom to reinvent yourself. Letting go how you normally behave on a date and thinking, what else could I do different? What other archetype could I potentially step into and increase, of course, the magnitude and, of course, the charisma in our dynamic that we have. Now, it's really interesting because I read The Cosmopolitan, like, gosh, when I was single, and they interviewed some wedding couples. And one wedding couple actually said, yes, we got married because we took it one date at a time. There was never an assumption that there's going to be a second date. So try it out, and just like her, you may end up walking down the aisle sooner than you think. Now, of course, if you haven't done so already, take our free quiz to attract the right man for you at mymquiz.com. And if you haven't watched already, when a man deeply loves you, he will start saying these 5 things. Ladies, this is it for today. Much love to you, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.